I'm an early bird and I'm a night owl, so I'm wise and I have worms.
What are you talking about? You look totally cool, like a real chick.
I look like the Korean Buddy Holly.
Buddy Holly was cool.
May he rest in peace, but Buddy Holly was not an attractive man.
I'm not a garbage man! I'm a muffin man!
It's the Al Travis Show, and a good friend of the program. He's Erich Mische. We're not talking about Save today. I mean, it'll come up. But he's with us for another reason. He wrote himself a book. Erich, how are you doing?
I am doing great, Al. It's good to see you.
It is always a pleasure. We'll get him in here first Friday of the month. Now, this Friday, just a little show prep. We're taking the 4th of July off, so we'll get you on the 11th, the week after, to talk about Save and all that is. But a quick note, best of programming coming up on Friday. But we do have you in for your new book that you wrote. And I want to give some history for what I know about you. You tell me how far off I am. When you and I first met, you were floating down the Mississippi River for a great cause. I'm going to forget the name of it. Give it to me.
Spare Key.
There you go.
Spare Key.
Spare Key. Wonderful program, and you're raising awareness. You're running that thing, and you've done it for a couple of years. This week, you and I started doing some radio. You moved over to SAVE, which is Suicide Awareness Voices of Education. That's where we're chatting now. What were you before that? I don't know Erich before that.
So before all of that, so I actually, in the last almost 14 years, 3 different nonprofits. Spare Key I did for about 11 years, and then I did a stint as the executive director of the Minnesota Alliance with Youth, which is a lot of AmeriCorps programs. And then this August will be 2 years as the CEO of SAVE. Prior to that, Al, I spent most of my life and career in local, state, national government politics and public policy. I worked very closely with Norm Coleman, dear friend of mine. I ran Norm's campaign for mayor back in 1992, got him elected, reelected, got involved in helping get him elected to the U.S. Senate, helped him lose his election for reelection. And in between all of that, I've been a chief of staff in the U.S. Senate. I was a former city council member of White Bear Lake. I've worked for 2 mayors. I've lost track of the number of campaigns that I've done. So a lot of my life is really embedded. My DNA is embedded with politics and government and public policy.
All right. And I wanted the history because I want people to know why you have the right to write this book, and you really do. You wrote the book, Go Effing Do Something, Stop Posting and Start Participating in the Change You Say You Want to See in America. Bold title, bold book, and I think to myself, I don't know if I got enough cojones to ask somebody to do that, but when you look at what you've done in your life, including the last 3 nonprofits, you step up every day. You've earned the right. You've always been in the arena in one way or another. If you're for Coleman or you've been that guy. And I've read the book. When you read the book, you realize what you're talking about is you're not asking for the world. You don't write a check, write a letter. I love this book. You tell me how you end up coming to it. You seem ticked.
Yeah, I will say I was ticked after this last election, and it wasn't because of who won or who didn't win. It was because after the election was over with, I like everybody, I had to listen and watch and read all of these damn posts on social media about this outrage and that outrage, and this is going to be the end of this world and that world, and this is not like a new realization for me. This is the reality of the America we live in today, is that we have lost sight of our civic duty to get involved and to go effing do something, right? We've lost sight of the fact that, changing the world even a little bit at a time doesn't happen because you wrote an incredibly poignant Facebook post or sent out the most incredible tweet there ever was. Yeah. The way the world changes in this country, and that's the part I'll say, Al, I am a proud American. I believe in American exceptionalism, right? I'm not a Democrat, a Republican, a liberal, or conservative. I'm all of those things. But what I am at my core is I am an American. And what I believe about this country is that this is the only country on earth, anywhere, that's ever existed, that each individual American has the ability to go do something and make the world a better place. And it doesn't have to be you don't have to take a raft down a river, right?
Yeah.
Is you can do something as simple as showing up at a school board meeting, right? You can do something as simple as volunteering for a nonprofit or your church or something like that. But by God, don't tell me that the world's falling apart and you don't know what to do about it, because I don't have time to listen to that.
I absolutely love it, because as much as you're saying that, I'm thinking about the texts and the X's and all the rest that I'm seeing. So X has been around, I don't know, 10 years, 5 years, 10 years, whatever it's been around. I can't think of that one perfect post yet. The one that got anybody excited. The one that was Martin Luther King's dream speech. Maybe I'm missing it. Maybe that's the people that aren't my friends can write those things. They're not there. But what is there is everybody and their brother who's complaining about something.
Everybody's got an outrage. Everybody's angry about something, right? I mean, you just had on someone before me, right? The majority of the middle folks, right?
Yeah,
they're the theory of their change is that we ought to try to find middle ground and work together. And I think that's a lovely idea. And I think that whether you believe it's finding middle ground or common ground, I think it's more common ground than middle ground. The reality is that nothing in this country changes unless we make it so, right? So one, it is the narrative is stop complaining, stop posting, stop saying that you did something today because you put a Facebook post or you tweeted. You did nothing, right? You did absolutely nothing. Now, come talk to me when you tell me that you went and volunteered at a local food shelf, or you decided to show up at a school board meeting or a city council meeting, you decided to run for office, right? You donated some money to some place, you showed up at a rally, you lent your voice to something. Tell me you did that, and then I'll believe that you actually did something. So one, there is the premise that we as American citizens need to go out and do something to make the country a better place. The second part of the premise, Al, and this is really important because tragically on the heels of the assassination of a legislator and the attempted assassination of another legislator, is we need to stop being nasty and mean to one another. And it can't just simply be in the moment of great tragedy.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, how long is this going to? I completely agree. 100%.
Because I guarantee you that despite all of this, we're coming together. It's really powerful in the moment to believe that it's sustainable. It's not unless it's a conscious effort on our part to make it so. Right?
Yeah.
You gotta be willing to say, you know what, we need to stop being mean and nasty, and I use other words for it in the book. There's a lot of swearing in the book. But the reality is unless we make a conscious effort to treat one another with respect online and in the real world, the division and the vitriol we see today is simply going to get worse.
Yeah, and we've been talking about it a little bit online here. The issue is, like you say, don't just write me a tweet, don't just write me this and tell me you're some brilliance, is that people today, well, I wrote a tweet and I had 1 million people retweet it. Yep, 1 million people sitting on their couch agreed with you. Isn't that wonderful? Did you change anybody's mind? Did you get anything done? It's the idea that I'm famous because of the tweeter world that I'm in, or the people that follow me. I again, name one thing Twitter got done. I don't know it, and I love your thought on that. And I'm going with, again, back to the assassination, to bring this heat down. The reason the guy writes his mean tweet is because 1 million people will follow him and like it. Yeah. And evidently somebody sends him a check for that. I don't know how influencers make their money. We could all stop it. If you did nothing more than read the tweet, say, yeah, kid's got a point, and forget it. Don't push the send, don't push the share. And when the kid doesn't get 1 million likes and 1 million shares, he won't get his checks. And guess what? He'll have to go get a job. Yeah. Can we not stop it by not sharing? Get rid of the share button.
No, we can stop sharing it, right?
Well, that's what I mean.
Get rid of the sharing button, right? What we can do is we can stop amplifying that hatred.
Exactly.
We can stop amplifying that division. And that's well within all of our power, right? Yeah. Look, I write nasty emails all the time, and I let them sit there for about an hour, and then I delete them, right? Yeah. And I got to tell you, the the immediacy of our urge to have to post something because we're mad about this or we're angry about that. That is how these social media platforms were built. They hook you, right? We need to unhook ourselves, right? As the adults in the room, we need to recognize that we control the vitriol, right? When we talk about how much we hate politicians and how much we hate government, right? And government doesn't do anything and yada, 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 yada. Who do you suppose is responsible for this? We, the people. We created this. Nobody else did this, right? The politician that's in office is there because we put them there, right? And this notion that somehow or another all of this stuff is being done to us is, I think I can say this, is a load of crap, right? Is that it's not all being done to us. We are doing it to ourselves, and we are empowering those divisive voices in American life by what we say and what we do online. And we are also providing them with oxygen because we as the people don't fill the vacuum that's there that needs to be filled, right? So absolutely. If you think things are falling apart, if you don't like what your city council, your school board, or your state legislature are doing, is you have American ways to change that.
Absolutely. We're going to go to break on that. We'll come back. We'll talk some more. He wrote the book, Go Effing Do Something by Erich Mische, Mische. You can find it on Amazon. The paperbacks are out now, right?
Paperback and Kindle. You got to type in the title of the book to do the search, or you type in my name and you'll find the book. You may also find the book about the trip I took down the river too.
Fantastic. We'll talk more with Erich Mische right after this.
If it's your turn to host a game, Grandpa's Barbecue suggests you try something different. Put out the perfect barbecue flavor of Grandpa's Barbecue. Add it to your ribs, dip the meatballs, or drench your wings in the original flavor of Grandpa's Barbecue. It isn't too hot or spicy, fruity or smoky or whatever. Grandpa's Barbecue. Available in select stores and online at grandpasbarbecueshop.com.
Chanhassen Dinner Theaters brings you its most popular show of all time, Grease. You'll hear all your favorite hits from the Broadway musical and the movie. Join the whole gang at Rydell High. We'll sing, we'll dance, we'll bring you back to high school life in the 50s. Poodle skirts, bobby socks, the soda shop, and drive-in movies. Grease! It'll rock your socks off. Order your tickets today. Visit chanhassendt.com.
don't need to ask him his opinion more than once. Al Travis on The Al Travis Show.
We've got him, Erich Mische. He wrote the book, Go Effing Do Something. It says here, this is not a self-help book. It's a wake-up call. He doesn't coddle you with platitudes or empty promises. He grabs you by the collar and demands action. Go effing do something is raw, relentless, fiercely hopeful battle cry for people sick of scrolling, shouting, sitting on the sidelines while the whole world burns. In a nation of drowning in almost, people who almost care, almost act, almost make a difference, this book shreds the excuses. Now, let me tell you, if you're going to get a book called Go Effing Do Something, there is language in this book, but I think it is appropriate. Like I say, I've read the book. I love the book. I think it tells you exactly what you need to do to get off the couch and start doing something. I call it a motivational book. It's motivation when Erich Mische sounded very ticked off when he wrote it. Were you just finding times when you're mad as hell and then you sat on by the computer and started typing?
Yeah. Short answer is yes. And I will say this: I mad in a constructive way, right?
Yeah, correct. Yes.
Right. I mean, the goal and objective here was to write something that was easy to read, right? The chapters, don't pay attention to the order of the chapters, right? I make a comment that you could tear the chapters out and read them individually. The goal here is to underscore the potential that each one of us has in this country to make an impact and change the life that we have in this community, right? I talk about, one of the instances, in St. Paul, where there was a garbage dump literally growing in a parking lot across the street from a childcare in a church parking lot. The city of St. Paul, Ramsey County, the state of Minnesota for weeks and weeks and months refused to clean it up because they all argued with each other about whose responsibility it was. And one day after watching something, I think it was either in the paper or on the news in the morning, I looked at my wife and I said, I'm going to go there and pick it up. Right. Yeah. That's all I did. Is I grabbed a couple shovels and the trash bags and some gloves and I went and picked it up. And Brian Bergson, who is a retired military guy, showed up a couple hours later with a couple of his kids and helped pick it up. And pretty soon there was like a dozen people who just showed up and said, what do we got to do to pick it up? I mean, that's the kind of thing that each one of us has the power to do. And we don't need anybody's permission, right? We don't need anybody's permission to do this. We act as though somehow or another somebody's got to give us permission to make the communities that we live in a better place. We don't. And it's a cop-out, right? It is a complete cop-out when we sit there and we wring our hands and we say, I really want to do something. I just don't know what I can do.
See, but you understand this is unsettling, uncomfortable for a lot of us, right? Because you're calling out the obvious. Every one of us said, what about the park over there? Good gosh, why isn't it cleaned up? We've all had that thing and drove by and said, I can't believe the city. I can't believe these people, whatever. And we didn't do it. You understand you're calling us out that we're all wearing no clothes.
We all are. I have moments of that too, Al, right?
Okay.
Is that but here's what I do know after having spent as much time as I have in the life that I've had, is that I also know that there's nothing more gratifying as an American to be able to simply exercise my right to go effing do something and make a difference, right? I'm not a Pollyanna. There's nothing 100% perfect about the country we live in. And I will tell you that's part of the beauty of it, is our ability to be in a country where, because it's not perfect, we have the ability to make it better, right? Yeah. Each one of us. And that is an extraordinary gift that was given to us by our founders, right? That we have it within our rights as Americans to simply do what Americans feel needs to be done to make the country we live in to be a better place. And I think we too often forget that. We too often act as though we lack any power or capacity or influence, and none of that is true.
All right. I don't call this a self-help book, but I've called this as a motivational book. Like I say, all of us are going to read in here and get a little uncomfortable. Like, yeah, I could have done that and I didn't. But it motivates you to get up and do something. And I love this book. Go effing do something. You just go do something on the Amazon page. It'll pop it up. It doesn't like the Effenheimer. Go effing do something by Erich Mische. Sir, get folks to do that right now. Is Amazon the one spot you can get it for now? And I presume no
Amazon, where
website
you get
thing.
it, you get it both Kindle, you get it in paperback. 100% of the profits from this book go to Save Suicide Awareness Voices of Education.
Fantastic.
So
Didn't know
that any book that you buy, any profit that's made off of this, 100% of it goes to Save to help support the work we're doing to raise awareness about suicide and help prevent suicide.
Oh, fantastic. And we'll get you on here next week. We'll talk about Save and what a great year you've had in that department. I appreciate you, sir. I appreciate this book. Go effing do something by Erich Mische. Appreciate you.
Happy 4th of July. Go
Happy-
do something.
There you go.